Hey guys, it's Dave from DD Drums. Welcome to this lesson on 5 must-learn bass drum exercises. Now, these exercises, I believe, are going to help you develop your control, your speed, your power, your endurance, your technical control on the bass drum. So many times, this is an area that drummers really lack, just because it's an area that's probably not focused on as much. Drummers will often focus on their hands and their, work on the drumsticks, but the bass drum doesn't get as much of a workout. So, that can be an area that drummers can be challenged in. So, these 5 exercises, if you practice them, I promise you're going to develop all those skills we talked about, power, endurance, speed, all that kind of stuff, all right? But before we even get into, how to play the exercises, let's talk about technique, how you actually play the bass drum, all right? So first of all, I recommend playing heel up. You can play heel down, however, heel up is going to give you more power and speed, all right? So heel down is more for probably softer styles of playing, but heel up is going to give you a lot more power and speed because you're using like a quarter of your body, just your whole leg to play when you're playing heel up. All right. The other thing is watch where you have your foot on the pedal. Like you don't want to have it too far forward, nor you don't want to have it too far back. You want to find that sweet spot. For me, it's about 1/3 down the pedal a little bit, but you can sometimes experiment. All right. It's a sweet spot where you're getting a nice amount of leverage, but you're also getting a lot of power as well. So it's all about using the sweet spot, I guess that's what I'm saying. All right. The third thing and last thing is when you play your foot, right, don't let it come off the pedal. I see, especially with beginners, they'll actually take their foot off the pedal. Just try and leave it on, okay? I sometimes tell my students, imagine you've got some glue and your foot, your shoe is stuck to the pedal. Like at least the front of your foot, like near the ball of your foot is stuck to the pedal. It can't actually come off, all right? You can slide and you can do some pretty cool things, but you just don't want to move your foot like that because that's just going to be not very efficient, all right? It's all about efficiency as well when you're playing with a bass drum. All right. That being said, let's get into the 5 exercises, okay? Now, the first one, what I'll do is I'll give you a demo, how it sounds, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. Here's the first one. All right, so what we're actually doing there is 16th notes, okay? We've got right, left on the snare, and then 2 bass drums. And that pattern just repeats itself over and over. This is a great one to work on because you're basically playing doubles on the bass drum constantly, over and over and over. So it's putting a real demand on it. However, the most important things are having really good timing, okay, and really good technique. So recommend to really start this one off really slowly, probably around this tempo here. All right, and the strategy with all of them is you stay at a certain tempo for about 2 minutes, then build up, all right? So let's try about 2 different tempos. First, I'll show you at about 80, and then I'll show you about 120. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, that one exercise, I remember back in the late 90s when I got really into punk rock music and there was a lot of fast bass drum work happening. That was the one exercise I practiced on a lot that helped me to get that fast punk beat you often hear. So if you're into playing fast doubles like that, then I recommend that exercise right there. Okay, let's move on. This one here is a 4-bar pattern, okay? So I learned this one from Joe Morello. But this one exercise I learned from one of his DVDs, And it's basically doing quarter notes, then eighth notes, then triplets, and then 16th notes on the bass drum, all right? And I like to just accompany the hi-hat, just playing like quarter notes to keep in time. So I'm going to show you this one at about 55 beats per minute to start off with. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so a couple of things. One, practice with the metronome with these exercises and really trying to stay super in time. And the other thing too is some of these parts you do have to count. Like for example, the whole 4 bars, if you count it, would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So definitely count this one because or else you can get lost going to the different time parts, okay? All right, so let's try one more tempo, a little bit fast this time. We're going to try about 90 beats per minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's definitely a challenging one, especially when you get to the triplets and the 16th notes. That exercise there is a really good challenge for your bass drum. So a great one to develop the technique. All right, let's move on. And we're going to go to the third one, which is going to be playing 16th notes on the snare drum. Okay? So, and then the bass drum's going to be playing a different pattern here. So the bass drum is just going to be going 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and like that, but with the hands as well. So working the bass drum with the hands is a great way to develop your control. And what you're trying to do is let them line up exactly. You don't want any flams or timing where they're not exactly aligned. You want them to be exactly in time together. That's the aim, all right, with all these exercises. Of course, we are human. We're going to make we're going to do imperfect playing. That's completely okay. However, when you're practicing, try and aim for really being accurate, okay? So here we go. Here's the exercise at about 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's try another tempo. We'll try about 90 beats per minute. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are some of my favorite bass drum exercises to work on where the hands are playing all the notes and the bass drum has to line up. Some of my absolute favorites because you can really tell when the bass drum's not lined up. So it forces your bass drum to be accountable, okay? So definitely work on those type of exercises there. All right, the next one, number 4, is one of our tricky ones here. We're starting to get trickier and trickier. So this fourth one, you're basically playing the hands going like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right. Now the bass drum's playing doubles. So it's actually playing a pattern where it goes 1 E and A2 and A3 E and 4 E and A1 and A2 E and 3 E and A4 and A1 E and 2 E and A3 and A4 E and. Right. And that's the whole bass drum pattern all the way through. It's pretty interesting. So definitely you have to slow this one down, but I'll give you 2 different tempos, starting off at about 60 beats per minute. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that one's a bit of a tricky one. Now, let's try a little bit faster, about 90 beats per minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, last exercise we're going to work on, number 5, right? This is more of a John Bonham-inspired bass drum exercise because I know he did a lot of triplets, right? And that's exactly what we work on here, where the hi-hat and the bass drum are working together to do triplets, like this. So the counting there would be like this. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So you could count like this, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But like I said, I just like to count it in 8 notes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And that could be the exercise right there. You don't have to add the snare drum if you don't want to, but the snare drum just gives it a bit more a backbeat, of course, okay? So how does that one sound? Like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Let's try that one tempo at about 60 beats per minute. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And let's try one more tempo. We'll try about 90 beats per minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you go, guys. There's 5 bass drum exercises that I believe if you work on those, you'll dramatically improve your playing. However, don't stop at these 5. Work on many others too. There's so many different bass drum exercises. But I will also say that you're better off getting like 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of these and really getting to know them really well than learning, say, 20 but not knowing them that well. All right? It's more about quality over quantity, guys. All right? So work on them, work on your technique, timing, all that kind of stuff. And then as you get better, develop more speed. So start off slow and build more speed with these exercises. Awesome, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Definitely check the like button. And hey, also be sure to grab the transcription for these exercises in the description section below, okay? So it's all there. All right, awesome. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time, guys. See ya.